Hello! I don't know why I do this all the time with the hands, but welcome to the Dabbler's Domain. Today, we are dabbling in Captain's Log, Star Trek Adventures, the solo role-playing game. Picked this up about 6 months ago. Dabbled a little bit in it. Just got as far as maybe creating a character and doing that kind of stuff, but wanted to pick it up, wanted to try it out again. Real quick before we jump into it, had a lot of fun doing the Lone Wolf series. Waiting on book 2. Got it ordered. Hoping maybe pick that back up in a couple weeks before we do book 2. There was a request to maybe do some art. Still trying to figure that out with the iPad and how I want to set that up and do it. And my art is so bad, but we want to dabble. We want to learn. So let's get into it. Let's see what we have set up here. Okay, so up here in the corner, this game does require 2 d20s. So we will be rolling this. The total kind of helps, but we might also be using just those two. Have a Word document down here for notes, because we will be needing to take notes from time to time. And up here, yeah, that way, yeah. The very far end, we have our character sheet, which we'll be filling out. We have our starship or station sheet that we will be filling out, and missions and going through there, and all the stuff we need. From what I played so far, this is an extremely fun thing to do. I'm sure I will be pushed to my limits of creativity and actually having to, use the mind, if you will. But let's stop dilly-dallying and just jump right in to it. I will say that Modifius, who publishes or who made this book, was super awesome, super nice. I bought the book off of Amazon, and I wanted PDF versions of everything that you usually get when you purchase the book through them, and without any kind of problem within a day, I had the PDF, like the one you see here, and a full PDF version of the book itself. I did also purchase 2 d20s. They are off to the side, so I can't really grab them right now. But I figure for this purpose, it should be fun to just use the digital versions, and then we can all kind of see. So we are going to start, and I might show pieces from the book actually here. Let's go back here. So we're gonna go down the life path route right here. Let's see, I have very, very limited space up here, but we will get it going. So we will get our starting points. We'll choose our species. We'll do the environment. We'll our environment or setting conditions and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's just jump right in. I'll do my best to just read what we're doing. So we are going to kind of do a random species by error, and there are several different. I need and should have cleaned up my workspace just a little bit better prior to starting. That way I have more. So there is the Enterprise era. There is the original series era. And the next. Wow. Next. I feel like an nincompoop. And then there's the next generation era. So within each era, there are different species that we can choose from. So random species by era. You may select the species of your preference, or you may roll on the random era matrix, then the subsequent matrix to generate a species other than human. If you prefer to play a particular era, for example, the Next Generation era, go directly to that matrix and roll a random species, assuming you do not wish to play as a human. What if you're playing in a different era, or what if new species introduced? For example, Star Trek Discovery introduced the Alshan, a humanoid civilization with a symbolic relationship with butterfly-like life forms, along with the Kazon. Oh man, and I'm a huge Trekkie, and I know I've heard these words so many times, but then seeing them printed out. In those cases, model the character on whichever species you desire and distribute attribute and discipline points as appropriate. So here's also the cool thing is if we pick something like the Next Generation era, we could roll on any subsequent eras as well. But if we say, okay, hey, we're doing just the Enterprise era, we can't then pick from the original series era. So what I think I'm going to do is roll I'm gonna say I'm rolling from the next generation era, so I can pick any previous eras as well. So without looking at the characters that I could choose from, let's roll a d20. Let's roll 2d20s for each era. Pick those subsequent numbers because the species are labeled 1 through 20. So, for instance, for the Next Generation era, we rolled a 9 and a 14. So we can choose between a species on 9 and 14. We'll do that for the TOS era, which is 7 and 16. And in the Enterprise era, we could pick 6 and 16. So that will give us a little bit of leeway into how we want to choose our characters so that we don't, we sit here and we're like, okay, we're going to pick from this era. We roll the random dice and it's like a Horda. And I'm like, I don't want to be a Horda. I don't, that's too difficult. So let's see what we got here. In the Enterprise era, we can either be, let's see, number 6 is a Gorn. That's interesting. Or a 16, a Vulcan. Fairly standard, it seems like, or fairly, I don't know, maybe a little, depends. Okay, from the original series era, we rolled a 7, which is a cybernetically enhanced. That's all it says, cybernetically enhanced. Or a 16, which is a Saurian. Make sure I spelled that right. Yep. All right. And from the Next Generation era, we rolled a 9, which is a Jem'Hadar. Or a 14. Pack-led ship, go fast. Okay, which are these characters? It's so just looking at it, right? Depending on how we want to do this, we can pick a Gorn, which depending on how we want to roll with this, could be hard Vulcan. That's so. You know what? I'm gonna. Hey, spell your name. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of god powers here. And I can choose. Oh no, not a double. I can choose a 9 or a 3 from any era. Let's see. Number 9 in the Enterprise era is a Klingon, and a 3 is a Arbazan. So let's say that possibly I could play as a Klingon, or an Adosian and a Barzan. I don't know any of those two offhand. I could be a Binar, or I rolled a 9, which is the same. Hold on a sec. Oh, 9 from the TNG era, which is what I'm in. So let's 14 for just the TNG. Oh no, Pac-Led did that again. 7 and 18. Talaxian or a hologram? So I have a free pick if I want to just decide to go Klingon. And just because I chose to do Klingon and I chose it from the Enterprise era, I don't necessarily mean that means I need to be a Klingon from that era. Well, when we decide what era we're actually kind of playing in, what year we're actually playing in, um, we'll see. So for those who don't know, uh, let's look at the TOS Saurian class here. So images. Ah, so it's this character here. Okay, okay. All right. Um, let's see here. All right, so let's check out the memory alpha um, input, or however, yeah. So many ads about it. So they resemble humanoid lizards with scaly skin that could be pink or gray. Their large black or yellow eyes were endowed with both vertical and horizontal eyelids. Okay. Um, see here. Let's see. Culture. Oh yeah, yeah, yes. Saurian Brandy. Yes. Okay. Here's some named people if we want to figure out how we want to name. Okay. Okay. So that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, so I just looked up cybernetically enhanced. So I think we have huge leeway on how we could do this, just with implants. Um, maybe we could choose what our cybernetic enhancements do. And maybe, so here's what I'm thinking maybe um, that we do. And possibly, maybe we'll change around, but maybe we could be a cybernetically enhanced Klingon. Uh, you know, cybernetically enhanced Vulcan. So here's the thing. So Vulcans are standard. They are maybe not standard, but they are just so everything about them is already in place. And there's not enough I feel like there would be so many restrictions on what we could do, how we were going to act, you know, we I'm gonna take off Vulcan. We're not gonna be a Vulcan. That is decided. Um, the Saurians, a Saurian, a un. Yeah. Anyways, as much as their alcohol is delicious, we will. Well, I don't know if their alcohol is delicious, but you know, we shall see. But we're not going to do that. But I like the cybernetically enhanced. I think so far that does pretty good. Maybe we could be a cybernetically enhanced Gorn. I don't believe that and if we choose Gorn, you know, um, we not might not be uh, able to be like in Starfleet at all, and but maybe, and I think even if we're like a Gorn ambassador, I just I don't see it. I don't know where we could go with it. I took some time and I looked up, some Gorn, just to see if maybe that would be something we could do. Like maybe we'd be on a Gorn ship and do that. I don't think, and we are not. I'm a cybernetically enhanced pack lead, so that we're super smart. No, but that wouldn't. Yeah. So I think we're gonna be. I don't want to be a cybernetically this is a hard decision. I think we're gonna be a cybernetically enhanced Klingon. I think that would be fun. I think, you know, maybe no, but you know what? The Klingons would never cybernetically enhance themselves, right? If it was a defect or a disability, they would die. They would rather die than do that. They would, you know, they wouldn't unnaturally, I feel, cause themselves. It goes against the warrior spirit. So I think we're gonna forgo Klingon here. Um, man, and see this the thing with like trying to choose at random or do other stuff like that. Uh, is that it restricts you, and within restrictions, some great things and some super fun things can happen. But uh, okay, you know what though? But maybe because they're already uh, and I am taking away Klingon because I don't. Yeah, now that I think about it, so Gem Hadar. Let's look into that. So if we look at the Jem'Hadar, they're a fighting, they're a warrior species. They're very organized, and maybe let's see, maybe we were like maybe we were captured as a youngling, and our cybernetic enhancements makes us not addicted to Ketracel White. Maybe we have a longer lifespan because of it. you know, uh, or maybe it makes us even more fierce of a predator. We don't have to do a Starfleet career path. Maybe we're an ambassador. Maybe we set this post Dominion War um, as kind of like an ambassador from the what was it, the Delta Gamma Quadrant. Voyager was lost in the Delta or Gamma. Now I feel like a dumb. Now I feel like a dumb. Um, okay, let me do some research and see if maybe that could be a thing, like a Jem'Hadar and a cybernetically enhanced Jem'Hadar, uh, not necessarily needed of the white, but maybe we choose to have the white. Um, Post Dominion War uh, relations with the founders. I'm not sure, how that necessarily works too much. But that could be. I think that might be a. I think that could be fun. I think that could be real fun. Okay, okay. I think I found something. And a lot of it kind of came from Reddit and what have you, but still, there's not much on the post Dominion War Jem'Hadar. So I guess a lot of them got repatriated back to the. Oh man, I just had it because I knew I was off on my which quadrant it was, uh, but Gamma Quadrant. It was the Gamma Quadrant. Voyager, Delta, Deep Space Nine was and yeah, wormhole to the Gamma Quadrant. So they all got repatriated back to the Gamma Quadrant, and uh, they're kind of like the shock troopers still for the Dominion and the founders and what have you. It didn't say if they still dealt with the Vorta, if they were still around. Um, but I like this. Let's be a cybernetically enhanced Jem'Hadar. Uh, this is a long way about trying to even just figure out which character we are, but I think we're cybernetically enhanced. Um, we let's say we're cybernetically enhanced to extend our lives. We still have the power of the Jem'Hadar, the eyesight of the Jem'Hadar. Maybe we're not as uh, dependent on the white, on Ketracel White, but we still intake it, and we're on ambassadorial mission. And oh, maybe the cybernetic enhancements null our warrior spirit just a little bit. Like we could still defend ourselves pretty well, but now we're we're turning this all around on what this species is to try to build relations back between the Federation, the Romulans, maybe even the Cardassians, Bajorans, with the Dominion and the Jem'Hadar, and by sending some of their fiercest battle warriors as ambassadors. So also these cybernetic enhancements will increase our intelligence, our mind, I think, as well. So I like that. I like that. So I know I want to play as an ambassador, so we'll be an ambassador. But I don't think I'm going to be a super skilled ambassador. So maybe I'm like third. I am third. And then we'll come up with a name. But I'm not like, first so and so. Yeah, so let's do that. So we know that. I think, do I write what I am in my traits? I believe. So I am a cybernet. Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's see. There's not enough room for all that. So I am, let's just say a cyber enhanced. uh, yeah. We're a cybernetically enhanced Jem'Hadar is who we are. So okay, so 20 minutes in, and we now have our species. I forgot to give out attribute points and disciplines. So for attribute points, you get I can't. You get 7 to start with in each one. And you get 1 in each of the disciplines. Now, hopefully that shrinks down just a bit. Um, so because at the end we're going to do a checklist, so our attributes can't go above 12. But we have to have a total of 56 attributes. Disciplines, max of 5. For a total of 16, we'll have 4 values, 6 focuses. We'll choose a name, protein, department, rank, assignment, posting, all that kind of stuff. So let's continue on. So now that we discovered our stuff, and we'll look at what the book has for. We'll pick attributes from the Jem'Hadar, I think, not maybe necessarily the cybernetically enhanced, because we're kind of combining those two. And actually, let's see if they have something for cybernetically enhanced. Yeah, so first select a species for your character and apply those traits. Though most cyborgs still consider themselves to be a member of their original species, there are some who cannot help but face the reality that every day they are alive is thanks to the machinery installed in their bodies. They embrace their reality with stoicism and with determination to prove to others that they are more than just a combination of organic and cybernetic parts, but are living beings with their own rights. Some even come to fully embrace the advantages their new components can offer them and use it to leverage as an advantage of others. So it looks like we actually get to do pluses to each one. So first select a species for your character and apply those traits. So let's go to the Jem'Hadar and apply those traits. Where is the Jem'Hadar? It's in alphabetical order, so it should be pretty easy to find. Here we go, Jem'Hadar. Individually, individual Jem'Hadar are physically powerful and are far stronger and more resilient than humans. They also have an exceptionally keen eyesight and act utterly without fear or hesitation in battle. They do not regard death with any apprehension and are extremely aggressive, limited by only their absolute obedience to the Founders and the Vorta. Remember, we're kind of twisting that. Maybe we're still kind of obedient, but we get attributes. We get +1 daring. That becomes an 8. +1 fitness becomes an 8. And +1 insight. And that becomes an 8. Okay. We'll put a pin in whether or not. So first, select a species for your character and apply those traits. So do I get... Because I feel like the way the character thing's set up, that if I was, like a Cardassian, if I was like a Cardassian, I would pick those traits, but I wouldn't also get something else on end, because we have to also keep in mind that we have maxes that we can't go over. That we can't have any attribute go above 12, and we have a total of 56. So I don't know but maybe our cybernetic enhancement makes us better, but also, so I'm not going to add them. And here's my thinking. I'm not going to add the points for cybernetically enhanced individuals, even though it looks like I should. If it looks like I'm short somehow through something, I'll go back and add to them. Because I would have gotten +1 to control, +1 to fitness, and +1 to reason. So let's hold off on this. Let's try to remember. And I'll put this in the notes. Not attributed. So we haven't attributed our attribute points to that. So we will continue on. Okay. So step 2 is the environment. And we'll keep going for a little bit while we create this character. There was a lot of stuff going on beforehand, so this will be just a little bit longer, but it'll be okay. So step 2, environment. Regardless of their species, Starfleet officers come from many environments across many worlds. While many humans are born on Earth, many more were born on a colonized world elsewhere in the galaxy, on a starbase, or on a starship. Your character's environment grants them a single value, 1 point in a single attribute, and 1 point in a single discipline. In choosing your character's environment, you'll start from either its setting, such as homeworld or colony, or its conditions, such as utopian paradise or a world at war. Each offers a different storytelling prompts, but both provide the same type of benefits to your character sheet. You may choose their environment or randomly determine it. First, determine which matrix to use, either the settings or conditions of your character's home environment. Choose the type that makes most sense for your character concept, and then next, choose or randomly roll an environment. So settings or conditions. So let's see here. So if we chose settings, we can either be homeworld, busy colony, isolated colony, frontier colony, starship or starbase, or another species world. So if we did conditions, we could be on a utopian paradise, a cosmopolitan, rigorous discipline, struggle and hardship, or occupation of war. So being a Jem'Hadar, I think we were born isolated colony. Sounds about right. Or starship or starbase, because I think the Jem'Hadar, even in this post-Dominion War, are still created. I know in Deep Space Nine, there were attacks on like Ketracel White facilities. I forget if they were born on a homeworld or not. I'm gonna go look that up real quick. All right, so yeah. So Jem'Hadar hatched in hatcheries, so it could be. So they don't really have a homeworld, so it's not going to be a homeworld. The isolated colony is a possibility, a frontier colony, a starship or starbase, possibly maybe a starbase, let's say, or another species world. If the Dominion has set up a hatchery on a foreign planet, that is very likely. But I think that might we're gonna do starbase. We're gonna say that we were born on a starbase hatchery, in the Gamma Quadrant, um, of course. So yeah, so 16 or 18. So here we go. Starship or starbase. Your character grew up in space, traveling aboard a starship or living on a space station or starbase. That one. Those raised in space learn the ins and outs of shipboard life as children, and many are groomed for leadership, or they will fly a shuttle in their formative years. Value. Your character gains a value which reflects the environment and culture they were raised in. This is a good opportunity to consider how the character sees other environments, such as landscapes, compared to their own. I do remember I need to find the values table. All right, found it. Okay, so value. So we gain a value. So we have a value matrix here. So we could roll. Let's roll the die and see where that leads us. So 1 and 5. So we could have our value be a good mystery is irresistible, or exploration is the blood that fills my veins. So we're hatched, right? The Jem'Hadar are hatched, and maybe, and I know with our head canon, with our backstory that we're doing for this character, we're cybernetically enhanced. We're pretty much cybernetically enhanced to be what we are. So we have no ambition other than maybe what's programmed into us. So let's go with exploration is in my veins. And I have to make sure I don't lose my spot here. Okay, so we have a value. Our first value. But I am going to, I don't know why, capitalize that. I'm going to make a note here saying due to cybernetics, not choice. So kind of when creating this new breed of Jem'Hadar species, if you will, for our headcanon, I have a sense of exploration, but which is why I. So maybe it's that thing where it's like I feel there's no free will for me, and maybe it's a lot of what the cybernetic implants in my head and throughout my body are doing, and maybe we try to and maybe that's where this story goes, to try to explore oneself and gain free will. So I'm going to make a story note, as I like that, to find oneself and gain or achieve free will, or maybe accept fingers, no free will. Founders are still gods, which almost kind of makes sense, right? The founders are doing this to show that they're allowing those within their domain or within their dominion uh, different lifestyle advances, but really they're being programmed to do that. But so their thought is like, let's see, how do we do this? Like, so their thought of it being is like, well, no, the Jem'Hadar are bred for this. Um, so now we're giving them a different life path so that they're different types of Jem'Hadar, but the Jem'Hadar didn't pick it. But if the Jem'Hadar were able to pick what they do, it would still be what they're genetically made to do. And so maybe this is like the interim process before they like are able to like breed or to change their genetics to be more free thinking. Get to choose. Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that. We'll stay with this. Hopefully, I remember all that. So we chose a value. So attribute, choose either control or insight, and increase that attribute by one. So we already got +1 insight for Jem'Hadar. So I'm kind of liking that. So let's do that. And I think what I'll do here is we'll finish up this little part. Okay, I'll get back to that. Let's continue. Discipline. So choose one of command, con, or engineering, and increase that discipline by one. So command, con, or engineering. Let's do that. I'll save that because I feel like what there is that there's more to go into with like all this certain kind of stuff, right? So like, command, like, so the command discipline covers leadership, negotiation, coordination, and moving others. So I think negotiation, being an ambassador, we kind of want a high command. Con is all about spacecraft and flight. Engineering is all about technology. Like an engineer aboard a starship. Security is safety. Science is science. Medicine is medicine. That's all pretty straightforward. So I think we kind of want our character to be kind of high command. I think high security in the sense of he's still a gem. Well, we don't know if it's a. I don't. There are no female Jem'Hadars. If I remember correctly, there are no female Jem'Hadars. Okay, so a quick search on memory gamma, which I believe for like the memory alpha, I think that is like, canon, this kind of stuff, and the rest are kind of non-canon type stuff. That there was, so according to memory gamma, there was a female Jem'Hadar. It was a sort of how is it how to put it, there's like a defect within the egg because it got imprinted with some human DNA, and so it was a genetic malfunction because all Jem'Hadar are males. So if we wanted to play as a female, I think there are ways that we could, especially with our back canon of post Dominion War, the Dominion trying to change the way they do things, but it seems like too much. So I think we're going to be male. So our pronouns will be he him. But that's something interesting to look for to look into. Yeah. All right. So the environment conditions we don't choose from because I don't believe we choose from. Let me just go back and double check. By either its setting or its conditions. Choose a type, then makes the next. Choose a randomly roll an environment. So I don't think we choose our conditions. I think we chose one or the other. We either chose the setting or we chose our conditions. In choosing your character's environment, you'll start from either its setting, such as homeworld, or its conditions. Each offers different storytelling prompts, but both provide the same type of benefits to your character sheet. First, determine which matrix to use, either the settings or conditions on your character's home environment. Choose that type that makes the most sense for your character. Next, choose or randomly roll an environment. Okay, looked at it. And all I had to do was go back uh, to the life path thing. It's either it's environment settings or conditions. We chose our setting, not our condition, so we can move on to number 3, which is early outlook. So let me read that here real quick, and then we might call it and come back here in a little bit. So step 3 is early outlook. Driving them into their education and career, your character form an early outlook that shaped them in many ways. You may choose from 3 approaches of how to determine the impact of this outlook. The first is select their upbringing and determine whether they accepted or rebelled against it. The second, applying to Klingon characters or those raised in a Klingon household, is to select their caste and whether they accepted or rejected its expectations. The last option is to simply choose an aspiration, which drove your character onto their journey, and whether they pursued or gave up on it. Choose the approach that makes the most sense for your character and storytelling style. Once the approach is chosen, you may select or randomly determine the specific option within that approach and adjust your character sheet accordingly. So there are different upbringings. We have Starfleet, business or trade, agricultural or rural, science and technology, artistic and creative, diplomacy and politics, which might be one we do, or we could, if we decided to roll a d20 to figure it out, we can do it that way. We're not Klingon, so we don't need to do caste. So aspirations: to explore, to fly, to create, to discover, to protect, to prosper. I think we'll go with by selecting our upbringing. Again, Jem'Hadar, hatched, cybernetically enhanced, maybe from a very, very young age. Once, because the Jem'Hadar grow fast. They are hatched one day, and by the next day they're, almost a meter tall. By the next day they're maybe not that tall, but you know what I mean? Like it's a sped up process. So, maybe within 3 days of us being hatched, we had all our genetic or cybernetic implants done on us. So we're going to choose the upbringing. And let's make another note here. So step 3, upbringing. Cool. So just a little note for me to remember, because this video has gone on plenty long enough. And I think we should leave it here for now and continue creating this character. Should be super fun. I don't know why I went over to this one, but we still need to pick a name. We need our assignment. We're about to do our early outlook. So I forgot. So we were on a starbase. And we were in a hatchery, so which is where we grew up, in a sense. Hatchery. Let's say a hatchery / education. That's too much. We'll leave that note about it being a hatchery. That we were born on a starbase, or hatched on a starbase. Weren't born. So we know that we're going to be a rank of ambassador. We know already, kind of know where we're going with that. We don't know our career length. We don't know the events that happen in our career. We do have one value already, which is exploration is in my veins. But it's due to cybernetics, not my choice. Because this might be, a story about finding oneself and to gain and maybe gain or achieve free will, or maybe to accept that there is no free will and still believe that the founders are gods. Anyways, so thanks for sticking around for this long one. We will continue this in the next episode. And thanks for watching the Dabbler's Domain, and we'll continue to dabble in Star Trek Adventures, The Captain's Log, a solo role-playing game. All right, thanks everyone.